All right, we're here. You know who I am, the Mortgage Lion, sitting here with someone that I've known for a couple years now, someone in the industry that does very well. She stays busy, she stays productive. Sophia Cruz.
Hi, everybody.
So, Sophia, we've done a podcast before. We've actually had a few deals that we've done. So, how's everything going with your business right now? What do you see the market? Where do you see the market right now? How do you see everything that's taking place right now? How do you see everything?
So, business has been okay. It is a tough market. Mostly now it's converting into a buyer's market.
Hmm.
So, we're starting to see some buyers come out of the woodworks wanting to know about, interest rates and all that. So, just been like doing a lot of education pretty much on what's available, the loan industry. That's when you come and play. And just kind of keeping up to par with the market so we can give good people and good information.
Right. And before the podcast, we were talking a little bit, and we were talking about multiple sources of income. And I know that you're actually good at that. You have multiple businesses, and this is something that most agents don't do. They stay in one business, which is good, but at the same time, when it gets slow, they start to fall to the wayside a little bit because they don't know, what else to do. So talk to me about your business. What do you got going right now?
Yeah, so I do got my life insurance license. Always like keeping up to par with that and offering coverage to families. I do also do caregiving, um, and that's something that lands close to my heart because it's amazing to me how much elderly people right now need care. But I think having multiple streams of income is important, especially during a market that's tough. That gives you flexibility that you don't have to lift your finger off of the real estate business. So it gives you flexibility with your schedule. You being able to still do your real estate business, meet your clients, answer your calls, all that good stuff. I think this day and age in general, in any
Mm.
industry, you have to have multiple streams of income. You ain't not surviving off of one stream of income unless you are like got a turnkey business that you've been in business for a very long time that's generating, abundance of money. Especially if you got kids going to school, just life in general. Groceries are expensive, gas is expensive, and cost of living is expensive, which comes into play with real estate, right?
Hmm.
We can kind of educate people on, renting versus owning. I mean, I can relate to a lot of people because I've been through every stream, right? I've been a homeowner. I've had to go lease. I've been a homeowner. You know what I mean? Like I've gone through every avenue. So when people say like to me, Sophia, it's just so costly to buy a house right now. I'm like, really, is it? Because have you seen the cost of rents lately? Like rent is no joke. It's expensive. So for a couple $100 a month, you have your own property, you have your own place, and you create equity, and there's a lot of other perks to doing that. And there's a lot of programs, down payment assistance programs that are popping back up with really good perks. So all the people that were sitting on the sideline, trying to get money together to buy a home, which still amazes me to today, that people think you need a lot of money to buy a home, you know. And there's a lot of programs out there. They're just not asking or getting acquainted with the right person to educate them. So yeah, I mean, just keep them busy. Every day I get up, you got to do something. And whether it's you doing phone calls or you working your other avenues of income, whatever it may be, just get up and do something, you know?
Right. And like that's I think we just nailed it right now. A lot of people think that you need a lot of money. Like there are so many ways to get into a property, even if you're a gardener. Okay, as long as you have the down payment, and even then, you can actually get closing costs and help with the down payment. I know our last deal, you got a seller credit. There's a lot of agents out there that don't take advantage of that. The seller credits, you agents out there that have your buyers, um, get them some money. Ask the seller for some money, and you do that a lot with
Well,
your
right now's
clients.
the time. Right now it's a buyer's market. So right now you can negotiate, seller credits, you can negotiate A lot of things, them covering certain costs of the transaction, whatever it may be. So right now is leverage for buyers to get into a place with minimum down. If they can get the seller credit to cover the closing costs, you can come in with the down payment assistance program. So realistically, what are they putting out of pocket?
Right.
You could almost get a turnkey home with a minimum amount of money. I mean, less than $5,000, depending on the transaction, So it just depends on, your circumstance. Obviously, credit and all that comes into play. But, it's not the inevitable. Like, you cannot say that there's not an option for somebody to do, to get a house, because there's a lot of options.
Right.
But yeah, I know it's tough out there, and a lot of people are going through a lot of financial hardship. I know, just in general, like with family and whatnot, it's not easy. Cost of living is really high right now. Things are going up. House insurance, you know what I mean? That's been a big topic.
Right.
Just all the extra stuff that's going on in California that we can't control. But what we can control is giving you options, giving you the ability to be able to get into something with a minimal amount of money down, and negotiate you not having to put out of pocket so much. Sellers now, that were on the sideline a couple months ago are probably kicking themselves right now, because I mean, man, it was like overnight, huh? Like a matter of like 3 months. You saw like
literally overnight.
I remember in the city of Menifee, when I was looking for a client, it was like 23 homes or something like that at the beginning of the year that was like for sale. Now it's like crazy. You open up the app, it's like green everywhere, And now those sellers are competing with everybody else, and it's gonna be tough to, it's a tough market right now for sellers. Yeah.
Right, and I think a lot of people don't understand that when rates drop, houses go up, and when rates drop, it causes a competition.
Yes.
Everybody starts to outbid themselves, $60,000 over. $60,000 over.
No concessions.
Right, and you know what? I mean, I guess that's good for the agent, because the higher you go, the more you get. But,
yeah.
But for the buyer, they're gonna spend a lot of money. And I know you're someone that actually drives everywhere to look at houses. There's times where used to call you during our transaction, like you're in like opposite sides of the city.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents don't like to do that. They don't want to sit there and drive everywhere. But in this industry, you have to drive and do whatever it takes to get to your.
I mean, like somebody asked me one time, that client I had in Pasadena, she's like, "Hey, Sophia, do you work Pasadena?" I go, "I work anywhere."
Yeah.
Like, I will not refuse a deal. And it still amazes me, like, even people that I know, even family that I've known forever. I mean, I've been in real estate for 7 years now. And, like, they'll be like, "Oh," I saw you bought a house, or this is your house. How come you didn't call me? And they're like, "Oh, we think you drive this far." What? Like, like, I'm everywhere, constantly, And it's just funny to me that, some agents, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, this is our business. You pick up wherever money comes through, that's where you're at, and you have to make that commute. There's no ifs or buts,
I have an agent that I didn't get a chance to introduce you to her. She was in the next building over. She had, I believe, a listing in Sacramento, and so guess what? She jumped on a plane, went out there for the listing appointment, got the listing, and then did an open house the following weekend.
Why wouldn't you? Sacramento's a hot market, and it's like everything over there is over $1.5 million probably.
Right, and nothing was stopping her.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'll just jump on a plane, I'll get out there, get the listing," and then the following weekend she had her open house, and it was gone. She sold it.
Yeah, it's a hot market out there, and that was a good decision on her part, But I mean, that just goes in general for and go back again to any business. I mean, if you're a business owner, are you going to refuse delivering something to somebody in San Diego or LA because you're out of Riverside County?
Right.
Like, no, you're going to go wherever that person's asking for your product, you're going to deliver, So it's the same thing with real estate. Why wouldn't you go and drive for your client? It's part of your job.
In this industry, you have to be proactive. You can't be reactive. Like, I'm not going to drive way up there. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to do that. You have to be proactive. If there's a will, there's a way. So, and that's what I like. You're an agent that I love working with, because even during a problem transaction, you remain calm.
Yeah.
It's like our last transaction. We had one like about a month ago. That one, like,
I didn't give up, huh?
We weren't gonna give up. I wasn't gonna give up. I tried everything, and we ended up getting that to the finish line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you stood calm, and I can imagine when you hung up, you probably were like, "Fuck," you know. And you know what? Because I know I did. I was like, "Damn it," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy. But I don't give up. I think as in this industry, if you throw in the towel quick, you're gonna throw in the towel quick on anything that you do.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You know, and how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So
It's habits.
if you're gonna give up, don't give up in this industry because you'll fall by the wayside.
Oh yeah,
You know,
for sure.
and like they say, you know, if it's not you, it's the next man.
Yeah.
I'm that next man. You're the
Yeah.
next person that's gonna. If that other agent's gonna lock it up, you're gonna walk up and you're gonna lock it up.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's why I like working with you. So,
Yeah.
and then what about your business right now? Like, how are you doing right now in like right
So
now?
in real estate, I have a couple small listings. They're like mobile homes and stuff like that. I'm starting to see now some movement on people calling me, getting some information on, you know, getting quotes on what they could sell their house for. A lot of people are sitting on equity, you know. And then a lot of people are also contemplating like, well, yeah, Sophia, if I sell right now, where am I going to go? The interest rate's high. I'm like, the interest rate's high right now, you know, but you can do a refinance. What's that? After 7 payments,
Yes.
they can do a streamline refinance.
Yes.
So, I mean, we all know what Trump's saying, what he's going to do with power. So, I mean, it's just like the nature of the economy is going to, you know, as far as interest rates come, it's going to come down.
Yes.
It's going to come down, just a matter of, you know, timing and sticking it out. But I think right now is a good time to buy because you're not going up a lot against a lot of competition.
Right.
Your average American, it's hard to qualify for a home right now. You need 2 or 3 incomes because most people are still, you know, entry-level jobs. You're making $40,000-$50,000 a year.
Right.
I mean, for a $500,000 house, you got to at least clear what, 100.
Pretty much.
So
I mean, maybe a little more, but yeah,
husband,
minimum.
wife, and possibly a third, right? So yeah, it's but if people can do it, they might as well and get into something, and even if it's a multifamily thing, like just make it happen until you guys can stick it out and refinance, and then
Right.
you'll be in a better standing. Yeah.
Right, and I think in this industry right now is who you work with matters. And I know you wear multiple hats, so that's actually a good thing because I believe there's something with the life insurance that could help cover someone with the mortgage, right?
Yes.
Explain that
Mortgage
to me just a little bit.
protection?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Explain that to me a little bit.
So pretty much like what and I have actually can like literally talk to this in all ethnicity because my dad passed away last year. And I remember when I first got my life insurance license, my sister jumped on board and we got my parents on it. And he was, my mom, they're, you know, I want to say like Hispanic families, but most people do not want to give up money every month. They think it's like a scam or I don't know what people think, but whatever it may be. My mom was so adamant about my dad not paying for it because it was $120 a month, okay? And so I told my mom, I said, what's going to happen when the breadwinner of the household, not even knowing that fast forward 6 years later, this was going to happen, right? That the breadwinner of the household gets eliminated from the equation. Now, how are you going to afford to live? You know, who's going to pay off whatever remaining debt there is, you know, whatever it may be. And so my dad's like, absolutely, your mom could not survive without something, you know? And so I said, you need it because you're on a limited income. You know you can't do it without my dad's income, so you need it, you know?
Right.
There's no questions of if or but, you know? And just think about, I would tell her, just think about how much money you guys spend on an outing to go eat. Just don't do it once a month and you cover the cost. But some of you don't want to make the sacrifice, you know? But fast forward years later, my dad ends up passing from a heart attack, unexpected, totally unexpected. My dad was young, 6 years old. And immediately what came to my mind, I was telling you earlier, it wasn't so much like the emotions go through you of, you know, you just lost your loved one. But what instantly came into my mind was like, what's going to happen to my mom? Like financially, will she be okay? You know, does she have enough to cover, you know, thankfully a year and a half before we pre-planned their retirement and they made the move of selling their home to go into a 55 plus park,
Yeah.
community. And thank goodness they did, because that structured my mom in a way better position, you know? And so after didn't say, in the back of my mind, I was like, I hope my dad kept paying that freaking payment,
Yeah.
you know, but he did. And so my mom was squared up and taken care of. But, you know, that was just like a real life situation that I lived through and saw personally. It was so flawless. We just had to make a phone call, you know, provide the information that my dad passed, and the check was in the mail from my mom. You know, the amount of stress taken off of our shoulders, off of me and my siblings. I mean, funerals are no joke. They run you from $15,000 to $25,000 overnight. Who's gonna like? What do you know? Where are you gonna pull that money from?
Right.
You know, especially this day and age.
Of course.
So it was a huge financial relief for me and my siblings, because we didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
So I mean, that goes hand in hand with mortgage protection. Like, back to the same thing. If you're the breadwinner of your family and you have children and a wife at home, the last thing you want to think about or on your deathbed is how the hell is she going to pay the mortgage? Like, you know,
or even pay for the funeral.
Oh yeah, both, you know, and what's going to happen to my kids, you know? So that was really important to me. So I have coverage. My husband has coverage, obviously, but, you know, I just think that it's super important to make sure you protect your biggest asset and make sure you leave your family well situated. Right. You know.
And that's one thing that's on your mind all the time. You're always thinking about your family, so you're always out there hustling.
Always.
I know. I'm not gonna put you out there that much, but I know you've made 7 figures before.
Yeah.
You've made 7 figures, and I don't know too many agents that have made 7 figures before. So, you know, when you talk, I listen, and it's always a pleasure working with you, because as a lender, you always want to work with an agent that's proactive, not one that's reactive. And you're always proactive. And as a lender, I always want to be valuable to my agents. I know every time you call me, something's going down. You know what I mean? So I got to answer the phone. Where most lenders and agents don't even answer their phone. Yeah. You know? And if you're not able to answer, text right back. Hey, give me 5 minutes. You know, give me a couple minutes. But I'm a lender that tries to bring value, you know, with the flash closing, with the multiple investors, multiple products. You know, I want to be able to say, yes, I can do that loan. Yeah. Because I have all the product. I have the team to get it to the finish line pretty fast. And I know you've experienced that with me, and I've experienced some good things with you. So, you know, going forward, where do you see yourself, let's just say in the next, by the end of the year, how do you see yourself ending your year in the real estate?
Well, I'm definitely going to hit the ground running with all this coaching on calling, making more phone calls and doing that. I think the business in general, I mean, they've been talking about it for a while now. I think since last year, like, the business is changing. We got to adapt to the new ways that people are responding to listings or buying. You know, a lot of this younger generation is all about, you know, AI, social media, you know, more tech savvy kind of, you know, interest, versus back in the day was real old school, you know. And it was like door knocking, you know, a person, which I still think is very important. But I think that we have to adapt with the way people are handling their life situations nowadays. And I feel like a lot of people adapt to it because they just don't have the time. You know, a lot of people are working 2 jobs, you know, or whatever it may be. So being able to communicate with the lender via an app, and it's so easy, where they can just upload stuff and not have to go into an office and fax this and do that, and like the old school way.
Which is the way I give you that link every time we do business.
And it's very convenient. You know, my clients can take pictures and upload it, and you can give them an answer within a next business day. You know, and it gives them sense of mind that, oh, okay, wow, that was fast. I didn't have to go. I thought it was gonna be way harder. You know, and it's just technology. Technology is key. You know, and I think having all those, you know, that accessibility to fast, you know, responses and like easy access to things like that is super important right now. So, and I'm guilty of it. I don't do enough calling, which I'm sure my business would do a lot better. But I'm working on that, and I'm gonna make that my end year goal is to get back on track with that, because I see the importance of building a bigger platform by doing that.
Boom, I like that. Yeah. Technology nowadays is important. You know, you can have all the lead sources in the world, but if you're not making the phone calls to follow up, you just wasted everybody's time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wasted money, you wasted time. But there are so many technology platforms out there to make your job easier. One of them is the link that I have. I always give it to the agents, give it to you. You click on the link, takes you 10 minutes. All you need is two thumbs and a phone. You know what I mean? To fill out that application, you can upload your documents immediately. And then, even when you're out there, when you have an open house and you have a CRM, you can put all that data into your CRM and put them on a nice drip, and it could be a nurture. Maybe they're ready in 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they weren't ready in the beginning, but once they see the drip, maybe that sparks interest.
Yeah, and I've seen that work because I think that's like another like I just went to a educational meeting last week, and it was like a lot of people went to Mike Ferry's training, right?
Yes.
I didn't get to make it this year, but I'm gonna try to make it next year. But the importance of someone drilling in your mind about your business, because I think we get caught up in our day to day, and we think we're doing the most that we possibly can, right? Because you're like, dude, I get up every day, I'm working. Like, what else can I do? But I think the importance of having coaching and being open to constructive feedback on what you can improve by people who are top earners, top producers.
Yes.
I mean, like me, business aspect wise, like I don't need like I know how a business operations runs because of all my prior years experience of running businesses, but like in real estate industry itself, it's changing constantly. And you cannot say as an agent, whether the start of your business or the end of your business, that you know everything, because you don't.
You don't.
You always got to be adapting to new programs. You're always having to learn. You're always having to get taught a new resource or whatever it may be, And that's just life now. We live in a life that technology changes so frequently that we always have to stay up to par with things,
Of course.
And so, I think that's huge for right now.
Yeah, you do have to go with change, because if you're not changing and evolving, and you're not growing, you're dying.
Yes.
And that's what we say all the time. If you're
that's
not
what
growing,
happened to the human race.
Right. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
And in this industry, if you're the smartest one in the room, like we talked about earlier, I'm in the wrong room, because I don't want to be the smartest one in the room, because then that means I'm tapped out on growth.
Right.
And I want to continue growing. I want to surround myself with positive people. I want to be a positive influence in the community. I want to bring value to my agents, whether it's a relationship that they can probably connect with through me, whether it's a loan program that they can get through me, whether it's a fast loan, something. I just want to I want to bring value to my agents, and in return, I want to see some value back.
Yeah.
Because if you have a circle of influence that's just valuable, you're gonna win together. All the time, and so that's what I like, and that's why I like working with you, because you're very proactive. You have that hustle mindset, like we talked about earlier. Your mindset. Let's wrap it up with mindset. What's your mindset? What's the mindset of an entrepreneur?
Man, my biggest hurdle that I've learned through just all my experience is your mindset has to be just to get up and keep going, no matter what happens. I've been in a position where I've owned multiple businesses where I lost everything and I had to restart over. Like, that could really mind screw you up, because it puts a pause in your life. And I really had to learn how to adapt and go forward beyond that, and just get back on your feet and keep going, and it's crazy because you say you are who you surround yourself with, which is totally true.
Right.
There's not a successful business owner that I have met that will not tell you that they didn't go through hurdles in life, where they've lost everything, had to sell, their primary home residence to, get money back in the bank to restart or whatever it may be. I mean, people go through like getting dragged through the dirt to get back up on top. But I think that's the entrepreneurs that actually survive that and persevere forward are the ones that end up coming back swinging like nobody's business.
Preach.
And I personally have seen it, and it's a growth thing that I even had to accept and go through, because I caught myself being in that mentality like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm content with this. Like, I'm just blessed that I got to wake up today. Like, you know?
Right.
And it's easy to get into that mindset because it's fear. It's totally fear. And, you know, I've had to just kind of push myself through that and adapt to, you know, the world and how it works and how sometimes you feel it's so unfair to you.
Right.
But it's not. It's just we go through hurdles and life lessons to build onto something else. And in reality, I'm blessed that I did go through that situation because it made me treasure more my family,
Ooh.
you know,
Yeah.
and what was important in life, because you get caught up, like, you know, always just trying to like make money, do this, do that. You think that's the best thing you're doing, which is important, obviously.
Right.
You know, some lady said, you'd rather be eating a burger in a Ferrari than a Honda. Like, you know, yeah, who does it, you know?
Right.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? So I think you have to find your drive.
Find
And
your
whatever
drive. I like
drives
that.
you, whether it's your family, your you know, your life expectations, your retirement, whatever it is, you have to find that and go with it with 100% passion,
There you go.
you know?
Go for it at 100%. So, but I just want to tell you, thank you, Sophia, for stopping by today and dropping some nuggets. You know, if you ever need anything, you know, I'm here. So any last words?
No, I mean, I think we talked about, I think your programs in general are amazing because we've used a couple of yours.
Of course.
And you've helped a lot of my family out
Yes,
with them.
yes.
So I can truly speak to, you know, your down payment assistance programs and your, if you don't have your turnkey, you know, job, you know, like where you're a
Yes.
private contractor and you got money
Yes.
going everywhere. I mean, Jesse will find you a loan. So I think it's important to have, you know, good people that you work with, genuine
Yes.
people, and people that will help you genuinely. Like, we care about our clients, and my main purpose is to make sure that you are comfortable and what you're purchasing, and that'll be your forever home. And if it's not your forever home, it's a stepping stone, that's okay too. But the end goal is to make sure that you and your family are well equipped with what they need to you know, get through life.
Let's go. Thank you, Sophia. And if you need a hustler that's going to get out there and find you the right property and not look back and not take no for an answer, Sophia Cruz. Sophia, tell them how they can reach you. Oh, wait a minute. One last thing. She does have a video. I think you have about 7 million views on there.
8 million now.
8 million. So you guys got to go to her Instagram page and look at that video.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram page?
Sophia SoCal Realtor.
There you go. So with that said, I am the Mortgage Lion 824 on all platforms. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, click on the link, DM me if you need anything. If you need anything, reach out to Sophia. And with that said, lines only, baby.